Hi, and welcome to this episode of Empowered Entrepreneur. My guest today is Vanessa Cardenas. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
How are you today?
I am fantastic. It is such an honor and privilege to be with you yet again. This is our second go around. First time we did an amazing podcast together. You want to share with your audience what that was, or do I have the honor of doing so?
Go ahead. I've shared it with my friends.
We had such an amazing conversation. And to give a little history to your audience, how we connected was based on our hair. As your audience knows, you have the most beautiful hue of hair, from purple to this most beautiful sea blue green oasis that is absolutely stunning. And I have a very prominent pink streak in my hair. And we connected as I reached out to you and asked you if your hair is based on a trauma response. And that got you curious. And we winded up having the most amazing conversation over hair as a trauma response.
Yes. And I tell my friends, I don't think I'm ever going to change my hair color because the trauma is gone.
Yes, that's exactly it. Very, very much so. And I went through a similar, and again, your audience can listen to our podcast that talks about it, but it was just such an amazing experience to connect with someone else, not only who has the same name, yes, Vanessa, but also has that connection with hair as a trauma response. And then we realized, you know what? We're both entrepreneurs, and your business has been built on empowering. I mean, didn't you just recently, as of last week, launch something brand new that is absolutely amazing? I cannot believe that you have created an oasis similar to your hair, an oasis with Empower Her Essentials.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. Thank you for the plug. I'm hoping it to be like a marketplace where others that want to sell their wares can be featured collections through my e-commerce store.
Absolutely amazing. Now, did you capture that URL?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that such a good feeling when you have that idea that suddenly pops into your head, whether that's in the shower, because we know that most great ideas happen in the shower. Why is that? Because we pause, we stop, we allow our mind to settle, and suddenly that amazing idea pops into our head. So you had this amazing idea. Don't know whether it was in the shower or not, but Empower Her Essentials. And you knew it was meant to be because you captured the URL.
And the social media.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. I had something similar with that. I wanted for my space, and I'm a betrayal recovery specialist, is I wanted understanding ear, which is also oftentimes confused with audiology, that I'm an audiologist, which I'm not. I have an understanding ear when it comes to betrayal. And for me, I wanted that URL. And sure enough, I did not have to wrestle it away from anybody. So I was able to capture that as well. So I know that feeling when everything lines up and we have that perfect synergy and that perfect moment where, yes, this is meant to be. This is what we need to do. Very, very much so. So congratulations. Oh, isn't it such a good feeling to just...
It is. Yeah, because I actually wanted to gain social proof for Mariposa Sources as a business consultant, business system strategist, and I realized I needed a case study. And what better case study but my own business, where I can showcase everything that I'm capable of and be successful.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. So are we going to move into the reason why your audience is here for today?
Oh, yes. I would love to start our conversation about starting a business that is driven by your passion or circumstances.
I can definitely say that this will be a podcast that your audience will remember for a very long time. So here we are. We are here because I experienced something extremely traumatic. As I mentioned, I'm a betrayal recovery specialist. You don't study betrayal unless you've gone through it. And I went through it. After 2 decades of marriage, my husband, my soulmate, he was everything to me, said 3 words to me that completely shattered me. I've met someone, and it was a shove into a cesspool that I've never experienced. And I don't wish it on anyone else. And I was really struggling. I studied psychology in college. I was a C-suite executive. I was mentor people coming up through the organization. For lack of a better word, I had my shit together. Why is it 3 words completely shattered me? I mean, I was a mess. I was unrecognizable to myself. And I remember distinctly laying on my bedroom floor in the fetal position, sobbing, ugly crying, and just begging God, universe, spirit, whatever affiliation. I didn't care at that point, but please just make me feel better. If I could have a reprieve, I promise that I will help someone else. And the next day I woke up and it was better. A momentary reprieve. And the day after that, a little better. It got to the point where I was able to actually concentrate. I could concentrate, and that's when my studying began. I became a studious student of all of the great. You name them, I've done their course, I've read their book, I've interacted with them in some manner, shape, or form. I needed to become what I needed when I went through betrayal. And that prompted me start my own business, to become an get that whole solid background set. And I refer to it, there's a great theory. It's from invisible to actual. So think of it this way. There are 4 rings. Think of it like a bullseye, okay? You have the red, then the white, then the red, then the white, then the red, which is the bullseye. And you're with your arrows, okay? And sometimes your arrows completely miss the target. They don't even hit it. They're off. That's invisible. That's when we don't even recognize anything. And for me, I was invisible to the betrayal. I didn't see it at all. Not at all. It wasn't in my peripheral vision. I never saw it. I never, ever thought that I would experience that. Not at all. So that's invisible. Then something happens. I've met someone. That's impossible. That's impossible. No. You're in denial. That's impossible. Then you think about it a little bit and suddenly it's possible. And you come to terms with the possibility. Then it's probable. Wait a second. Yeah, they've been working late. They've been going away on business. Suddenly the everything starts to line up. Then it becomes actual. And this principle is also applicable to those that want to go into business for themselves, that have that entrepreneurial spirit. First, it seems completely invisible, like you'll just always be working for the man. You never even think it's. Then something triggers, something happens, and you're like, that's impossible. I can't do that. How could I do that? Then you start thinking about it a little bit, and you're like, it might be possible. I could be possible. I could do this. Then it becomes probable, because then suddenly everything lines up, like your URL lines up. You suddenly get your URL and you're like, wait a second. Okay, if I've gotten my URL, that means that I need to do this. And then it becomes actual. You actually do it. So I love this theory of invisible to actual. And entrepreneurs should always remember that. You're listening to this podcast because you have suddenly that fire in your belly. And you're like, wait a second, maybe I could do this. I could actually do this. Whereas days, weeks, months, years ago, it was invisible to you. You weren't thinking about it. And now today, actual, probable, actual. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. So as I mentioned, who am I and what I do? Vanessa Cardenas, Betrayal Recovery Specialist. Why do I do this? Because there are people hurting. There are people hurting from betrayal, and I want them to know that they are not alone. So as an entrepreneur, you need to know your why. You'll figure out how to do it and what to do, but you really need to know your why. And Simon Sinek said it best. He has a fantastic book, though it came out in 2011, I believe, or 2012, still applicable today. One of the best entrepreneur books about starting with the why. You start with the why. Why do you do what you do? Then how you do it and what you do. Absolutely. But you want to start with the why. So would you like to share your why?
Sure. To go back with the invisible and probable, I would hear other entrepreneurs saying that they have several businesses. And I was thinking, why only have several businesses? One is enough. And here I am with two.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah. Like, I never thought it was invisible. And then I got an invite for starting a TikTok shop. I had ChatGPT give me some options for names, and one of them was Empower Her Essentials. And I fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the idea of that's what I want to do. I want to empower others. And I'm actually working on a bundle of an accountant, a copywriter, a VA, and myself, a business system strategist, to create a bundle for others that want to start a business. And here are 4 or 5 experts to provide knowledge for a one-time fee.
Exactly. And you touched upon ChatGPT, which is always a very controversial subject. People either love it or they don't like it at all. They feel like it's taking away. But I love the inspiration that you got from ChatGPT. You didn't use it to develop your entire business. You started with a name. And sometimes that's what it is. It starts with that spark. It starts with somebody saying something to you. That's why you're listening to podcasts. You want those golden nuggets. You want to impossible, to possible, to probable, to actual. And sometimes that can go very, very quickly, or it can marinate for quite a while. And marinating's absolutely fine. The important thing is that you actually do it. And that's our next topic. Can we dive into that?
I'm ready.
All righty. So when you go from invisible to impossible to possible, when you get to possible, that's when something jumps at you, and it's imposter syndrome. You'll hear it a lot. Oh, we entrepreneurs talk about it quite often as if it's another person, as if it's riding on our shoulders, because that's what it's actually doing. It's riding on our shoulders. It is reminding us, you can't do this. What are you thinking? You don't have enough time. You don't have enough resources. You don't know what you're doing. There are other people in the space. The space is too crowded. You have all of this chatter starting to take you away from your dream. In essence, that's what it's doing. I come from a position of leaning into your imposter syndrome. People are like, what are you talking about? I don't want to get any closer. I want them to be quiet. I want them to settle down. I want them to stop harassing me. I invite people to lean into their imposter syndrome. Don't try to get rid of it. What it's doing is it's energizing you. It's reminding you why, we're back to the why you are doing what you're doing. So, for example, Vanessa and I, let's say Vanessa and I are in the exact same space. The exact same space. We both have the hair. We have the exact same script. We could say the exact same script, and one set of people will resonate with me for a variety of reasons. Others will not resonate with me at all. They'll be like, oh, the pink streak in her hair, or her face looks like my ex-sister-in-law, or, whatever it might be, whatever judgments they have might be there. But then they look at Vanessa with her two beautiful color hair and they realize, wait a second, she's a Friends fan. She's got a picture of Central Perk behind her. Oh, I love Friends. If she loves Friends, then she's perfect for me. We don't know why people connect, but we know when that connection happens, it's memorable. So get out there, say your message, say what you do, say it all the time, and quiet down that imposter syndrome. Just let it go. Just have it there, because to be successful, there's always a cost. There just is. It doesn't come easy, because if it did, everybody would be doing it. But you can do it. Why? Because you are listening to podcasts. You are doing the work. You are putting effort into it. And you recognize that it is hard work, but you also recognize those markers in the sand that tell you you are on the right path. You got the right URL. You have the right TikTok. You have the right Instagram. And keep in mind, a lot of people focus on how many followers do I have? How many followers do I have? I want you to think of this. Every big person, every big influencer, and the Kardashians, whomever you follow, they all started at zero. They did. They didn't have any followers to start, and then they built that base up. You can do that as well. And depending on your space, on your niche, you might only need 100 solid followers. Those that resonate with you, those that believe in you because they believe your why. They believe why you do what you do. Everybody's doing how they do it and what they do, but everybody's different in why they are doing it. So you want to lean into that imposter syndrome. You want to embrace it, because keep in mind that your wisdom is needed. It absolutely is. And one of the best analogies that my coach gave me was early on was, you're a fourth grader. Your clients might be first graders. They might just be experiencing betrayal, but you're further down that path. And with that being said, you're the fourth grader to the first grader. Then you're the eighth grader to the fourth grader. You can't be a PhD to a first grader. They look up to those that are a little further ahead, not somebody who's already climbed all the way to the top. They want to see that progression. So you want to make sure that you have that.
I absolutely love the idea of progression, because I too have a blog post about imposter syndrome where I state that there are benefits to it.
Mhm.
You have the idea of, oh, you can't do that, so you work towards that. And slow progress is still progress.
Mhm. Absolutely. Lots and lots of baby steps. We take a couple of steps back every once in a while. Sometimes we stand still. And standing still is okay, because it means that we're taking a nice deep breath to get a running start. And things have a way of taking off. They really, really do. And you have to be ready for it. And I'm a very big believer in, you're one talk away from something amazing. You absolutely are. So you need to talk. You need to get your message out over and over and over again, because you don't know when your message is going to land, but it will.
And that's, I believe in podcasts, because that's a platform where you can say your message, whether you're hosting your own or being a guest.
Very, very much so. And we definitely want to make the impossible possible. And you're a perfect example of that. You started with zero, absolutely. And you've built it up brick by brick. And then you got a golden nugget that said, hey, you don't have to have just one. You can have two. Go for a second one. And you put together a team. And that's what it is. It's really connecting with other people and developing a team around you that shares in your vision, that shares in your dream, that can help you make it happen. I mean, great coaches, they're there to challenge you. They're there to push you to the edge of your abilities. and to let you know, hey, you can absolutely do it. And a little scary is good. Don't shy away from being scared. It's absolutely fine because the reward is, oh, so much greater. It absolutely is.
That was a perfect final thought, but did you have any others?
I am all good on my end. I think your listeners have gotten a taste of what both you and I do, as well as feeling empowered that they can do what they want to do. And that's the most important thing. When you listen to podcasts and you read books and you scour the internet and scroll through all kinds of Instagram and TikTok, you're searching for that validation. You're searching for that empowerment that, yes, you can absolutely do this, and you can. Just don't stop. Just keep going, keep going. You will slip, you will fall, you will stumble back, but as long as you keep going.
Beautifully said, Vanessa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa.